Welcome to Rockin' Kentucky Blue, the podcast where we are serious about our Cats. Join two card-carrying Blue Rockin' members of the Big Blue Nation as they keep you up to date on the latest happenings of the University of Kentucky Wildcats. Here are your hosts, one calm member of the sports media, Michelle Mamba Brown, and one crazy fan, Jay Hayes.
Good morning. We're not supposed to say Happy Memorial Day. That's no longer a correct thing to say.
Why is that?
Because it's not a happy occasion.
You're celebrating though, right?
Well, why would you celebrate people dying?
Or you celebrate life?
Well, the last couple of weeks, I've been chastised for, I hope you have a happy Memorial Day weekend, I said. And there's nothing happy about it because that is recognizing all the men and women that died while serving our country.
Right.
And I get that. And I do absolutely recognize and appreciate. Take time every Memorial Day to spend some time in prayer to their families for their sacrifices. There's so much we have because of them. But for some reason this year, apparently if you are not gloom and doom the whole day, you are disrespecting everyone.
That's wrong.
So anyway, it's episode 67 of Rockin' Kentucky Blue. We're back to the future, and I use that one because we're going to be going back to where we were, but I hope it's more with a future looking. I don't want to go back to exactly like it was. I want it to be better somehow.
Back to the future. Yeah, I mean you're exactly right. I think it'll be better.
I want to think that.
Yeah, I mean you have to be positive.
Well, speaking
And
of things,
Jerry wants to say hello, of course.
Of course he does. Yeah. Okay. Later, Jerry. Okay. Anyhow, Lucy, I survived my birthday last week.
Yeah.
What else happened? Oh, my grandson is still in the hospital.
Yeah.
They fixed the problem they wanted to admit him for, but they've been trying to fix the problem they created in the meantime.
Right.
Yay.
Yeah.
We're hopeful he comes home today.
Hopefully.
Since he was dancing in the crib to September last night and his leg was moving much better, we think he'll be okay.
Yeah. And you were recently on The Locker.
I was. I had the other night when we were doing our Twitter spaces, I think it was then. No. Might have been when the previous episode of The Locker was on. And yeah, Vinny and Terry were co-hosting with Van.
Which was Tuesday.
Yes. So Tuesday night. And Anthony there was in the little chat area, Anthony had asked JD if he wanted to fill in for him Thursday night in The Locker. And JD, I get up at 3:45, no, blah, blah, blah. So I just sent Anthony a message off the side and I said, if you find you need somebody to fill in, I'll be happy to sit in a chair and give Van somebody to talk to. I mean,
Right.
I'm not prepared to talk, the things you all talk. And he said, well, I'll let Van know you're one of the options. He said, but there's a couple of guys he knows better, blah, blah. Fine, no problem, just letting you know. So I don't hear anything. By 6 o'clock Thursday, I've heard nothing. And then I went and picked my daughter up at the hospital because she had to work on Friday. And my grandson's dad was coming up to stay at the hospital while she's working all weekend. I get home like 8:20, 8:30. Make my coffee, just fiddle around, and then I go back and I got a message on Twitter like, are you still free?
Last second.
I was like, at 9 o'clock? Yeah, okay. So look down, 17 minutes. Okay, I'll be ready.
Right.
It actually turned out to be a really good episode.
That's what professionals do. I mean, I'm giving you credit, but this is what I will not give you credit for was me being hated on the lock. Well, not necessarily hated on, but I
Van started
didn't
that.
get no love.
Van started that. He gave the show love, and he said he had us on. He said, but I left Jay out of it.
I know.
So I just went with it. It was his show.
Right. I asked him about that. We did a Twitter space last night, and I said, I want all the smoke. Bring it. And Anderson was on there. No, see, they can tweet, oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I was like, what's up with this? And they were like, crickets. Van laughed, and he was like, oh, no, that was Michelle. So y'all just blaming each other.
Does he not know there was an audio and video of the episode?
I was on break at that time, and I saw, and guess
you
what?
Heard him
I get
first.
to see that part.
You heard him first. You heard him say he intentionally left you out, right?
Yes, I did.
That was him starting it.
And then I heard you come in too. He was like, "You're right. I'm not. No." And then y'all talk about my pitiful little followers that I got, my following.
No, it wasn't your pitiful. I just said doesn't matter. I got 3 times as many as he does.
And I got everybody on Twitter coming at me going, Jay's wrong. I'm like, just because
that's on them. Because I've never had a problem telling you to your face how wrong you are.
The point was the name of Rupp Arena was more than more.
Okay. You could have said that and been right. But what you did
was you read all of it. If you read all of it.
I took a tweet because some people will see a single tweet in time. And you said it's Central Bank at Rupp Arena. And no, it isn't. Because you see, here's the thing you need to know. When you are not right, you are wrong.
Wow. So I wasn't wrong in telling him it was more.
No, but you should have left it at that instead of, your problem is, you ever heard the saying, it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt?
I've heard the saying. But
okay. Well, that's what you
read
did.
The whole tweet instead of just my.
You don't have to read.
You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, but
I read the
real
whole tweet.
Full name is this.
I read the whole tweet. Your whole tweet said it's
not
Central
my
Bank.
whole tweet. I'm talking about what it.
You're talking about a whole thread.
Yes.
I have to read the whole thread. I read your tweet. Your tweet was wrong, and I'm telling you why it was. No, don't shake your head. This is why it's wrong. Central Bank Center is the entire exposition center in which Rupp Arena is contained. When you say it's a Central Bank Center at Rupp Arena, you're indicating Rupp Arena is the exposition center, and the Central Bank Center is that little thing in the middle that holds 20,000 fans where basketball games take place. That's why it was wrong. I'm just letting you know it matters the order that you put things.
Well, didn't they build the Central Bank Center around Rupp Arena?
No, the exposition center was planned all along. Rupp Arena came in as a piece of it. And if you look at the whole layout, the exposition center covers 2.5 sides of Rupp Arena.
So clear it up. What is the exact name?
Rupp Arena at Central Bank Center.
Okay.
There you go. Because they were not going to take the Rupp Arena name away.
Right.
But Central
that was
Bank,
the whole point to begin with. Just
Central Bank. Well, but you can tell what the whole point is. If you want, to express what the whole point is, do it accurately. That's all I'm saying. And the people won't tell you.
I got you. I was wrong in the name. I was right in my point. You could have said that. You are right in your point, but the name is this.
Why would I do that when I have an opportunity?
You're wrong.
When I have an opportunity to point out once again that you're wrong, I'm not going to add anything about the right part. Because there's really no point in it. But anyway, back to the future. Softball team's got to go back again. After they took care of their regional.
Yeah.
And they had to win 3 games in a row to do that. We talked about that last week. Never heard from Mr. Gloom and Doom, even though somebody tagged him. Quit name tagging people. Really, seriously. If we don't have them tagged, there's a reason we don't have them tagged.
Right.
And when you have your own show, you tag whoever you want. Until then, tag me, tag Jay, tag Rockin' Kentucky Blue. Tag a guest if we have one, which today was not a good day to get a guest because I'm sure some people, in spite of the wrongness of it, are enjoying Memorial Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Celebrating life. Nothing is wrong with that.
But, yeah, a softball team, they had to go to Tuscaloosa and had to play Alabama, and they've beaten Alabama this year,
Yeah.
but they hit a buzzsaw on the first game. I'm like, Saturday, they'll come back. They'll come back. And they were doing pretty good Saturday, but then it was just both times just fell apart. So
Yeah.
their season is over. Track and field. Did you see that video of the 4x400 relay team?
The lights going out.
That
Yes.
was classic.
That was, the audio is awesome. Like you hear the people in the background screaming and Kentucky, I think it's Kentucky. And that was pretty cool. Yes.
What, in Tennessee after? Was it Tennessee?
I can't remember. They did name in the video like second and third,
But I mean, never
was
missed
cool.
the lick. They had to win that to advance to the national championships. That relay team won the gold at the SEC championships.
Right.
But they needed that for the nationals, and they got it. And I know they had the video edited because they didn't have lights to see them go all the way around the track. You would just see them coming up the straight way, and
Right.
which really kind of was a bummer because I wanted to appreciate how quickly they were making it around. Because and there was a lot of fans that were holding up lights on their phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a little, at least a little bit there, but the fact that nobody skipped a beat, there was not any hesitation. They just kept running like their lives depended on it. Because,
Yeah.
well, they kind of did.
Yeah. That was a great video. Yeah.
So that was fun. What else? Oh, fun fact. Can't remember the guy's name. I just know he, by months, was younger than Phil Mickelson, and he won the PGA Senior U.S. Open. Or PGA Championship, rather. Yeah, so that was just kind of funny.
Right. Yeah, it is funny.
Okay, well,
let's talk about Cal's presser.
I believe my favorite part was when, and you and I've talked about that. I told you last week and maybe the week before that I felt like Keon Brooks was staying.
Yeah. And I said before that Mintz and Brooks were both staying.
Well, I said with Mintz, it's going to come down to whatever his feedback is. But the fact
Right.
that he was really slow to put his name out there in the first place, I did not see it as like a burning desire. It was kind of like, well, at least maybe I need to know what I need to work on.
Right.
Get some feedback.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, well, he ain't good. You definitely want that feedback. If you're trying to get to the next level, regardless if it's next year, this year, whatever, you want that feedback.
I mean, that's what Quickly did.
Right.
He got feedback, and look at him now.
Right.
I mean, I think he's cashing some pretty big paychecks.
Right. And I was trying, I mean, you see breaking news, you think and the information came out, the news came out about Isaiah Jackson staying in the NBA draft. A lot of people didn't expect him to withdraw. It was more of a hope, I think, man, because I even thought
he was still taking videos with the
that.
guys.
Right. He was still working out and taking videos. You're right.
And credit to Kyle Tucker, who said, I know that y'all are getting all kinds of hopes up, but this ain't happening.
No.
So, and
he's a
Kyle,
potential lottery pick.
You know, and Kyle is frequently wrong about a lot of things, especially during games. He's wrong about who's getting ready to lose.
No, you just say everybody's wrong.
No, I just the ones that are wrong, I tell them that are wrong.
Right. Right. But, you know, I saw that and I was like, there, you know, even when he's like decided to go into the NBA draft and just kind of test the waters.
He was NBA ready when he came into
Right.
college.
Right.
He
And
could have.
I said so.
Well, you got one right. Like I said, I've always given you credit
Right.
for the Isaiah
Yeah.
Jackson. One right out of 200 things is, you know.
He was a special kid. Would have loved to see him play more minutes, but he couldn't stay out of foul trouble because he would have. I mean, if he could have got 30, I really do believe that he could have knocked on Anthony Davis's door on that block record. I really do.
Well, if ifs and buts were candies and
if-
nuts, we'd all
you're-
have a Merry Christmas. You know
You're
how
right.
it works.
You're right.
It's
Just one of those things to have fun with. You know, I do more than you. You kind of stay.
I don't
regular.
find the what if game.
No, I'm
to
saying
be
on our
fun.
predictions, we have fun with it. And that was one of, you know, I was big on the crazy predictions with him. But I really do believe, you know, if he could have stayed out of foul trouble, he could have had that. But I'm looking forward to this year for some crazy predictions. I hope you get on board with the craziness instead
If
of
I'm
saying,
making a prediction, I'm going to make a prediction that is realistic. I'm not going
Well,
to the crazy.
sometimes
Every
those-
now and again, I will predict a crazy stat for a player, but I have to be feeling that that's actually something that has strong potential for happening in that particular game.
right.
For example, I might go crazy and predict that Dante Allen will score 30 when we play Mississippi State.
Someone last night predicted him to score 40 this year.
Oh, gee, I wonder who that was.
That wasn't me.
I heard you screwed that up too, the whole chat that was happening.
Yeah, I did.
You were kind of wrong about
I
that too, weren't you?
No, it was going good. Going
No,
good.
you were wrong about what you were trying to do.
No, I
Yeah,
was
you said
trying
so.
to take Twitter Spaces and
And
put the
it in
audio into Instagram.
And you were wrong that it would work.
I thought it would work. I think,
And you
and
were wrong.
I still think it works. I still
Oh,
think it can work.
Okay, well, tell that to the people that you abruptly pulled the plug on.
Right, right. But we had been
Yeah.
talking quite a while then before
You can't hide from your. Well, anyway, so we talk about Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I want to kind of try to keep. So what we're doing now, we're going back to kind of like, for the most part, normalcy. I mean, I will hang around the fully vaccinated people, and go most place. I still wear a mask in the store just because there's a lot of. I mean, let's face it, people were putting gasoline in plastic bags 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And because my grandson is high risk, I'll keep my mask on because if there's the slightest chance that I could get it and anyway pass it on to him, I'm not
Right.
taking that. So, I mean, I'll go out to dinner with fully vaccinated people. I go shopping with them. Anybody else, if they're not vaccinated, you can stay from your corner and let me move on.
Because you can still get coronavirus with the vaccination.
And while they say that you have a less likely chance to pass it on, or what you pass on is in a lesser concentration than it would be given to someone, I would say, it's still a novel virus. Been out a little over, year and a half, but
Yeah.
you got to have a lot of study. You don't know long term, every single scenario. But anyhow, back to sort of kind of normal recruiting kind of things. Except we're in the future and there's nothing normal about the future of recruiting. And Cal emphasized that. You got G League, you got this other league, you've also got the name, image, likeness stuff coming down.
Yeah.
And Cal, I mean, I don't think he was being cocky at all. I think he was being straight shooting, honest as he knows how to be. Kentucky's positioned very well in all of those
Yeah.
particular scenarios.
Yeah.
And he made the comparison, and this was really kind of funny. Cade Cunningham, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Could have gone to the G League. But you look at what the ratings were for G League. You look at what the ratings were. He goes, even for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a good program.
And he wasn't trying to slight them either.
No, he's saying, but at Oklahoma State, their ratings are greater than what you get at the G League, and the exposure he got at Oklahoma State,
Right.
like just skyrocketed his money potential.
Yeah.
And then Cal said, could you imagine if he had been at Kentucky?
Yeah.
Not saying what the team would have done, but what further recognition and publicity he would have got. Like I told you, even bad publicity is publicity, Jack.
Now, I will say this, that I argued that from the very beginning when this whole G League, well, the G League's things kind of been around, but here, when it just came about, when they were offering money to high school players, I said it is a better decision to go to college because of exposure. We didn't hear anything about the 3 or 4, whatever, 5 guys that went to the G League. You heard of one guy, and that was Jalen Green. The only one you heard of. You didn't hear Isaiah Todd. You didn't hear those guys.
No. And I've said that for years too. Why? If you have an immediate need for money for your family, and I would also say if you are what could potentially be called a one and done.
Yeah.
That you are at that elite level and you've really got to have your money now, then the G League's not going to hurt you. Because if you are good, the NBA will find you.
Right.
If you are that caliber of talent. Now, if you think you go into the G League and you're going to get so much better to make it to the NBA, I question that. Granted, there are some, if you went to a mid-major, a lot of the competition that you're going to face is not going to be of that caliber.
Right.
But you play in the Power 5, there's the exposure. You get programs like, Kentucky, that makes it one of their priorities to prepare you for the NBA. And that doesn't mean just playing. That means, how do you handle the press?
Yeah.
How do you handle your money? How do you handle the pressures of this and that? And what kind of workout? Like, you don't go to the NBA like, I've made it and stopped practicing.
Yeah.
I think there's some players that actually think that's a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see this year where the guys that went to the G League, where they go in the draft, and that'll be a big indication, I think, of how future decisions will be made on, should I go and get this $300,000 or should I get this name brand building exposure for the 1 year in college that I can get.
And in terms of Kentucky, should I do that? And then if, heaven forbid, I get a career-ending injury,
right?
I've got a lifetime scholarship waiting for me. I can go back, get my degree at Kentucky.
Right.
Just saying, education, good thing to have. The other thing that's with all of this, and we've pointed out on this show no fewer than 100 times, with a lot of people trying to tell us it didn't matter. And that's what players dealt with during the COVID lockdown, quarantine, the virus itself. Oh, by the way, Cal also said specifically, Nolan Hickman, he's like, far away from home, man. I'm homesick.
Right. Oh, yeah, Cal's not going to throw him under the bus. You know how Cal is.
He has thrown players under the bus before.
Rarely does he do that. And that's bad for recruiting. He's not going to do that.
Well, anyway, the thing is, he didn't.
I never denied that was a fact.
I had to throw that in because that was one of the quotes. But he said what we like talking about creating a new position. And he goes, we don't know what we would call it. But the coaches went on a retreat with Cal. So they
Right.
were discussing all these things. And one of them was player welfare. He's like, you got to check in with these kids because then you got to know what they're thinking, how they're feeling, because you don't have time to do that in practice all the time. And you might not pick up on some of the things that are going on. But if you've got one coach that's dedicated to checking in with the players every single day and talking about all the things that are not basketball,
Yeah.
or maybe talking about the things that are basketball that are causing them frustrations or any kind of anxiety or that type of thing. And I think that's brilliant actually to have that because they're kids. Oh, I know they're grown men, they're 19 years old, they want to go to the NBA, they better be a grown man, blah blah. Yeah, so they can get a bottle chucked at their head. Yeah, that's
Right. Don't stop on the logo.
Well, let's interview the logo.
Don't
this morning.
stomp on the logo. I mean,
and Jeff Goodman equated those two things. Like, well, Kyrie was immature for stomping on the logo, and whoever the fan was, well, they both need to grow up. Like, dude, I tell you what, go
it doesn't
interview.
It doesn't excuse the fan.
Let's go interview the logo and see how they felt about it.
Right. I'm just saying, there's some passionate fans out there, and it doesn't excuse the fan, but don't stomp on the logo. I mean, that's point blank. I mean, they're both immature. The throwing the bottle was dangerous, so you don't do that. But
the stomping on the logo. I mean,
you,
that's like no different than when Deion Sanders went in and on the Star at Dallas. I mean, that's gamesmanship.
Sort of like inciting a riot. When you do things like that, you get those hyped up fans like that.
No, when you are getting that's not hyped up fans. That's irresponsible, entitled, dumb jerks.
Right. It's a dumb fan. I
agree.
You
don't get to write it off for passion. That's stupidity. That's a sense of entitlement, and that's somebody out of control that doesn't need to be inside a sporting event. Because if you are so enraged because somebody stepped on an inanimate object.
Right. Well, I think it's immaturity from Kyrie Irving too.
You can say he's immature all you want. I mean,
he went to Duke, so yeah, I will say it. But yeah, I totally agree. That fan was out of line, and he got arrested, and he's going to take responsibility for his actions.
He's banned for life from the arena, which they should be. But the fans are out of control. Spitting on players.
Oh yeah,
they're throwing the popcorn. Not dangerous, but why do they think they can go into an arena and do anything to a player they want?
Oh, I know. That's crazy. Dumping popcorn on players' head.
I just said that. You weren't listening, apparently.
You don't do those things.
Apparently you're texting, so.
Yeah, I got a text, but.
Yeah, from JD, probably.
No.
You wasn't? Since he was on the chat thing, I figured he was. And say this.
Wow. No, what JD? JD's commenting.
So. I know. That's what I figured. He's like, don't forget to say this.
Oh, so you think I got a ghostwriter? Wow.
I'm just saying.
JD's the voice of reason.
And then you laugh him out of the podcast every time he says that. No, I take it. The last one, you didn't laugh him out.
No, I didn't.
But the week before, you not only laughed him out, but played circus music.
Yeah.
So why are they? We're not even supposed to respect that. Anyhow. So you got all these things, the whole player welfare and this and that. There is speculation that PJ Washington Sr. has kind of unofficially stepped into a little role to keep up with current players' families, where he would let them know what kind of goes on during a season. So I don't know if you end up getting another position, or maybe the player welfare coach kind of can step in that role, because I think sometimes a lot of the bad information a player gets, it's from outside voices.
Yeah.
That don't understand what's happening on the court, in the locker room, in the classroom, in the dorm, in college life in general. They're like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing? if you've got a coach that's communicating regularly with the parents, I think that you eliminate a lot of garbage that comes back to the kid. That's just my 2 cents. We can't hear you nod, Jay.
Yeah.
Remember, it's
Well, I'm
audio.
collecting my thoughts. I agree
We'll
with you.
send out a search
I did.
party for them.
Yeah. Wow. It's with episode 1. Uh, I totally agree. I didn't know that about PJ Washington Sr. So that's pretty cool.
I say speculation, but I think they wouldn't have been put out there without. I mean, this is somebody that talks to players and players' families
Right.
regularly, so I think that they had some reason to believe that. And like I said, if that's what he's been doing, then because I always thought PJ's dad was really cool.
Oh
It
yeah.
was-
It's definitely pretty cool. I could see him doing it. He's always had a lot to do with those, not basketball, but sort of those kind of things too. He's that kind of person. So that's really cool.
So the other thing that comes into all of this, and I thought Cal did a really, really, really good job saying what most of us would say, and that's all about the transfer portal. And Cal, everybody's, well, what's he doing picking up transfers? He said he was against transfers. He's a hypocrite. No, he said he's against the transfer process, which he is.
Right.
He still is. But, you pick up players where they are. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Because, that's like accepting when a player has charged and you get a foul. And you don't have to like it to deal with it. I mean, that's... But I did like what he said. There's people that, it used to be you have 2 or 3 players transfer. That's program changing.
Right. And didn't he talk about creating a job for that as well?
I can look back in those comments and find if he specifically said that. The part that struck me was when he said, like, oh, well, Cal's got a problem coaching because he had players transfer. He said, well, if that's the case, there's 150 programs that are in danger of being totally decimated because players transferred. That's how many programs had players transfer out. 150. And I'm not sure if that was.
He said 130, and he was like, that was last week. It could be 150.
Let's see. Come on here. My computer's like, yeah, I'll go to that screen, but I'm not going to scroll down for you to get where you want to go. Because you might like that. Okay. Let's see okay, there we go. Oh, it was how many schools had 6 or more players transfer this year? That was over 130 that had over 6 players transfer.
Yeah. And he said that was last week. That could be 150 now.
That was 2 weeks ago. It could be 150 now.
Right.
Just clarify.
Okay. But it's the same thing. But anyway.
No, it's not. 2 weeks ago is 2 weeks ago. Last week is 1 week ago.
Same point.
No, it's not.
But yeah, he went there. I think they are creating or have someone stepping in to kind of monitor the transfer portal. That will be their so-called job.
Says, I'll throw one other thing at you. We are competing against other leagues trying to take high school players, pay high school players. So we're not just competing against other colleges. We're competing against that too. Because the kids they are going after are the kids that we would recruit. Now, the retreat got a little bit deeper than, okay, who you rolling with? See,
he said da 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 da.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever listen to a Cal presser,
Yeah.
you might as well fill in da 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 da.
Yeah, I listened to them all.
Okay, so what exactly is this comes through will he have to do? Player welfare is going to be a part of it. Includes name, image, and likeness. It includes branding and other stuff that we have done. All this stuff, the transfer stuff, I was never for. I thought they needed to do something because an 18-year-old who played behind 2 NBA players, but all of a sudden says I could have had the ball more, I'm leaving. Where after his freshman year, if he gets through it and then he gets his sophomore year, and there are things I thought made it better for the player. See, it's not even a sentence. It isn't. Where after his freshman year, he gets through it and then gets into his sophomore year, and there are things that I thought made it better for the players and for college basketball. It's a different language. It's not English, it's Calese.
Right.
So he kind of was talking about coaching position, but he doesn't say specifically that they would have a coach that would just deal with the transfer stuff, but maybe that's the player welfare position to keep a finger on the transfer portal.
I was pretty sure I heard him in his presser say that they had a
Well, the transcript
would they create a job for that, and they have someone that was going to be stepping into that now and monitor, that would be his sort of kind of job to do.
Well, what he says is we are right now in the middle of developing that part of our staff. Changes are coming at us so fast, and most of it's falling right on the coaches. We'll make a rule. Here's the rule. Then we have to deal with what the rule is, and this should happen or that should happen. And that's the result of us dealing with it. And every coach is having to deal with that right now. So we are creating and combining. Eric Lindsay and I talked about last night, some guys are naming positions in college basketball, but they don't know what that guy's going to do yet because the rule hasn't passed.
Yeah.
So exactly what, as this comes through, will we have to do? And then he goes into the whole player welfare. So it's kind of like he'd have somebody to be looking at it, but he didn't say they would like create a position specifically for that.
Right.
I'm not saying that somebody's not going to have that particular duty. But he's right. It's the rule changes come across so fast.
Yeah.
And especially, man, if they get the flop rule in, oh man. Duke, that's how come that's why Coach K is talking about possibly retiring soon, I think.
Probably. That's going to hurt some schools.
I mean, that changes. You talk about how, they wait on see Cal's dribble drive and blah, blah, blah. We know for a fact it has been witnessed by many that Coach K actively teaches his players how to flop to draw charges that were really not charges.
Yeah, he's one. There's several coaches.
But I'm going to hate on Coach K because
Bruce Pearl's one of them.
Well, oh gosh.
He's definitely one of them.
And I don't think that Rick Barnes does that, but there's something about when you get in the state of Tennessee, you just become an idiot. So I'll just leave that at that. But anyway, through the part of Cal's ramblings, and this is what happens when you don't have a structured thought process.
Right.
The man's ADD. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Well, and then of course, we'll have, I think that and he also pointed out not having Keon's active leadership at the beginning of the season last year. What have I said? If we had Keon healthy at the beginning of the year with his leadership on the court, 10 more wins easy. But just through the course of saying what Keon did, and so this year, he's going to have a lot more. So there was, Keon doesn't even get to have any pomp circumstance, although I don't think you don't need a press conference to say you're coming back.
Right. You just show up.
But anyway, Keon Brooks doesn't get to say it because now Coach Cal has. And then that's when he kind of slipped into And of course, the flexibility you get with Davion back. Like, did he just steal Davion's? I mean, that's what we suspect. But apparently, since you're the knower of all conversations that are had not in public,
Right.
that no one except the two people in the conversation know exactly what the content is. But since you know it all,
Yeah, see, I never said that. I never said that I'm in conversation. What I do is watch and see how things are going, just like anybody else.
and then you draw,
And then I give my opinion.
but
But
you state your
evidently, my
opinion.
opinion is wrong.
You state your opinion as if it's a fact,
Okay.
but it isn't.
And usually, the things that I say like that about players coming back or players staying in the NBA draft or how good players are usually come true. Yes. You can think about it all you want, but it's a fact.
See, there we
Yes.
go. It's a fact. It's not a fact.
That I have been right on players coming and going or how good players are before they get here. I've been right on that. You got to give me credit on that because I have been right on that.
Occasionally, you have.
I like how you just occasionally.
Well, because it's
No.
not all the time. It's not fact that you know. But again, apparently it's been known between Cal and Mintz.
Yeah.
I think he knew all along Mintz is back in. Well, the way he's recruiting Mintz, that's what the way he's recruiting everybody. Not Mintz isn't coming back, and so people are ticked off about that. And that's when Cal is in charge of recruiting. Now, two coaches who didn't even get their luggage from the baggage claim.
Right.
When Ty commits, well, look at Coach O getting all the work done.
Right.
Do they not know when Barbie and Justice left that Cal had to take over the reins for recruiting? And pardon me, but is it the head coach's job to do all the legwork and the front end of recruiting, or is it for the head coach to come in when you got him on the hook and swoop in and seal the deal?
The second part. Yeah. I do think Chan Coleman had a little bit to do with Ty, though. I think he was recruiting him as well.
But they're suggesting that we didn't have any. We had not.
But it was all Cal, right? It was all Cal on this. He stepped in
because he had worked really hard on that kid, and for people to like automatically, but it wasn't even. They weren't even giving Chan Coleman the credit. It was Coach O,
right,
getting it done.
Right.
Well, like I said, when he gets out of the airport from baggage claim, let me know. It just is astonishing that the people that they're so hell bent on blaming Cal for every single thing that goes wrong and never once giving him credit for a single thing that goes right.
Right. Though there are always going to be those fans. There's a lot of Cal haters.
Well, it's pretty sad when they're in the fan base.
I know. Those are the players that constantly say we should have a lot more championships.
The one that I think was 2015. Absolutely agree. We should have had that one.
I think we should have had two more. But I also know how hard the NCAA is to win.
So, like 2018 was a prime opportunity.
Yeah. We had opportunity, right.
But then I tell these people, how many programs can say year after year after year after year that when you're looking at Elite Eights and opportunities, those don't come to everybody. Not even the programs. Well, look what this coach did. Look at Virginia.
Right. Don't get me wrong. The ultimate goal is to win a title. That's what we want. But I'm one of those people that values wins. I value wins, so I'm kind of like, man, it was, even if we didn't get a title, I'm like, great season, man. We won all these games. I mean, it was great. Yeah, I won a title, but still,
I
Those
got
wins mean a lot.
my level is like Elite Eight. When you get to the Elite Eight, at that point, I think you get into a lot of luck and matchups.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can be the better team, but you get this one sliver of a weakness your team has, and you get another team where their greatest strength is that sliver of your weakness.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what happened in 2015. If Alex Poythress had been healthy, I say you get, that's another ifs and buts thing.
Right.
A healthy Alex Poythress, you get a title. 2018, I don't know what would have fixed that one. I mean, they were poised for it. They couldn't hit a shot, even if they were shooting at the ocean and standing on the wave line on the beach. It wasn't going in. I was like, yeah, what a fun first NCAA tournament game for me to attend.
Right. Thought we had a chance of running too in the COVID year when things got shut down. I thought we had that chance to run.
Well, that one is tougher to call. I mean, I know how we ended, and I still have that last game on DVR, and I probably won't ever remove that because I was so excited after that game, and then everything came crashing and burning.
Right. I thought we had a chance to get to at least the Elite Eight, and then like you said, you don't know what happens from there. Luck, whatever. We could have got.
Well, again, it's hard. It's really hard to speculate. I mean, the team was poised to do that, but we didn't get to a point where there was brackets.
Right.
So that one's harder for me to say that was something that slipped away because.
Oh, I don't think it slipped away. I just think we were gelling at the right time there at the end, and then we just had the momentum. So you never know what could have happened. Like you said, we didn't have brackets. We probably would have got the bad draw again. So,
like, when do we ever get the good draw?
Right.
And then because what was they complained about Mitch being on the inside? Oh, Louisville. They had a complaint about not making the round of 64 this year, or 68, or whatever it was.
Right.
And they said it was all because of Mitch Barnhart.
Yeah.
He kept Louisville out of the tournament. Not their record.
Well, you had a lot of Kentucky fans going, "Thanks, Mitch."
Well, I'm thinking, if he could not get us, like we got royally screwed 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
With our seating, with our bracket, and Mitch kind of, they made their case and they could justify what their reasons were. If he couldn't help his own team, you think Louisville was even on his mind about trying to keep them out of the tournament when their record does it for them? And then, why put them in the tournament? Because at the rate that they keep getting the NCAA swooping in on them, the NCAA don't want to put up another banner that's got to be attached with Velcro. They got to go pull out again.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a dumpster fire. And they have been for a long time.
But you would think, when you got rid of Jurich, that should take care of that rotting cesspool thing and the good old boy pat on the back will do whatever. That didn't seem to be enough. So then you get rid of the university president that enabled Jurich to enable all the coaches to break rules and be disgusting slime balls. We're 2 years removed from everybody being taken out of Louisville, and they're still screwing up?
Yeah. They cleaned house, but they didn't dust. I mean, come on.
Well, I'm going to say what they did. They slapped lipstick on a pig, and, well, we know how that goes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's no point in painting the walls if you got termites on the studs.
That's right.
That's a new saying. I just made that up.
Okay. All right.
So we'll wrap. Getting close to our hour. I think we can wrap this up with two different things. One will be a really quick discussion because I think we know this. We know exactly what this is. Some of the mid-majors claiming they're not going to play Power 5 schools anymore because that's letting everybody see how good their players are. So they'll come in and poach them.
And we know that is BS.
They depend on the money from those
Right.
games. They're not giving it up. They're just trying to they're just pissed because they're not Power 5 schools.
Right. And we say money, but when we say money,
We mean
a lot
money.
of money.
Like probably at least 50% of the mid-major school's athletic budget for the year.
Yeah.
For one Power 5 game.
Yeah.
And we toss it out like we got a bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
Because we schedule how many of those in a year?
It's crazy. And every now and then, one of those teams that we pay beats us. Evansville.
Well, that's not even mid-major, which was the really sad part.
Yeah.
I still say that was Walter McCarty really, really had something to prove.
I think they gave it to him. I'm sticking with it.
Right?
I think it was a gift.
I saw Cal in that post-game presser. That was not the face
And
or
then
demeanor or words of a man who had just given somebody a gift that he wanted them to have.
I mean, you got to play the role.
Cal's not that great of an actor. We know when he's faking it. Anyway, so it's a whole bunch of hot air about nothing. They're going to,
Yeah.
if one or
They're
two of
just
them
not
give
giving
up,
up. They're not giving that up.
and okay, so nobody's going to have any film on any of your games for scouting purposes when the tournament rolls around, right? Like you got some guy that's just doing insane things, making insane plays, like ridiculous stat lines. Like that's not going to make the news.
Right.
Like
They're going to
nobody's
see
gonna be
these
looking
players
for him.
play. They're going to see these players play regardless. So it doesn't matter.
Poach them. So we're going to put them in simmering liquid. Stir them gently. Okay, as long as I know
They
how we're
actually
poaching.
use the word poach.
Yeah. That's the part that's like, really?
Yeah.
Last point. And as we go back to the future, we're back to the top here. Full capacity at Kroger Field this season. Return of tailgating. Now, I will say, typically at the football games, you've got the crowds in it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Except for the student section, they clear out after they've stayed long enough to get their big blue points or whatever it is they have to get. Will this translate? I mean, it's like, obviously, as we keep getting, we've got over 2 million Kentuckians fully vaccinated. As they make that number increase, I would say full capacity at Rupp Arena is probably a done deal.
Big Blue Madness.
I hope they find something. They've had a whole year to come up with something different, a new format, a new something.
Right.
Anything, please. We got some bright minds. Do something different. Come up with some new cheers. But is it going to change the crowd? And I don't think it will. I think those entitled, here for the show people that sit on their butts and never clap are still going to sit on their butts and never clap.
Oh, yeah. They're there for look at me kind of deal.
Oh, that's how come they don't stroll into their seats until 5 minutes before. They don't have to be there.
Right.
They don't need to take in, to me, that 10, 15 minutes before the game, when in the medium, when you can be down there on the floor and they're running warm-ups and stuff, and you're right there on the court. And as each minute ticks by, you feel the atmosphere literally change. I mean, it's
right.
The sights, the sounds, the everything. You know it's happening. And I just, these other people that just stroll in 5 minutes before, sit down, eat their popcorn, chit-chat. Oh, well, we scored. Okay. So What'd you do to make?
360 dunk. Oh, that was pretty
No, it's more
good.
like, what did you do to make your rhododendrons bloom like crazy this year, man? I passed by your house and they look great.
Right. Crazy.
What do you think it's going to be any better?
You would think after missing a year, you would think it would, put that excitement back in the fan, the cricket fan.
Well, no, I mean,
But hell, I don't know. I mean, maybe we should keep all the cardboard down there. They sure is about as loud. So
and at least the faces look engaged.
yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to say. I would hope to think that it would be more because hey, we're back and yes, it's different, so but I don't know. Those people are those people. So
I would like to think that they got really comfortable on their couches this year.
and yeah, that would be
And
a
they'll
good thing.
just stay there.
Yeah.
Stay. You're saying you're going
Stay.
to bring back the excitement, man. You're talking about trying to make a yellow tabby a black cat.
Yeah,
You can't.
I mean,
You bring back something they never had.
yeah.
And speaking of facts, make sure Aaron Torres hears about this. In 1945.
Damn.
Well, darn. Never mind. It's Arkansas State, not Arkansas. Kentucky defeated Arkansas State in basketball 75-6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
And my one trivia question. Oh, no, it's not. This is another fact.
Facts.
I was going to ask you a question about 2005 and somebody setting running back records. Would you have had a clue who that would be?
No, not in 2005.
Mo Williams, man.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, fact. Kentucky football coach Paul Bear Bryant assigned two of his players, Harry and Larry Jones, who were twin brothers. Big surprise there. Their jersey numbers were assigned as 1A and 1B. Only the Bear.
Damn.
Yeah, so much for individuality, huh?
Yeah. That's crazy. Real quick on the NIL stuff. Is that a thing now, or is it still just being talked about?
The NCAA has kind of indicated that they're going there.
Right. Because it was about 8 months ago, Jay Billis said they had no intentions. They'll talk about it, and that will be it.
The other issue is that some states have already passed legislation allowing for this.
Right.
Is the NCAA going to go up against a state legislature? So that stuff is coming from somewhere, and you better be ready to know how you're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
When it gets here.
Yeah.
Because if you wait until it already is a thing, you'll never catch up.
Yeah. Kentucky should benefit very handsomely.
Kentucky's been doing a fine job marketing them without being able to compensate the players, so they get compensated in a couple of years in the NBA.
Right.
They've got a brand.
Yeah.
And the coaches know if they've come out of Kentucky, odds are they've already had, like I mentioned earlier, the media training, the constant scrutiny in the press by the fans, the sellout arenas. I mean, the things that will not phase them in the NBA.
Yeah.
That when you bring Johnny B. Good out of the mid-major that we didn't poach, and he goes to the NBA after not getting poached, and then he's like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, playing to those sellout 6,000 fans, not quite the same.
Yeah. Proceed and succeed.
Well, that's wrong too. It was
Succeed and
succeed,
proceed. I couldn't remember. I have the shirt and I was like, how is it written on
which I think is like the
Succeed.
dumbest slogan ever.
I remember when the cow shirts came out.
I mean, that was a stupid slogan. The
What
only
is it?
thing,
Succeed and proceed?
yes. And I'm thinking, well, Daniel Orton missed the memo. He didn't get the memo. He didn't succeed at squat. He just proceeded.
Yeah, there needs to be a new quote.
Well, that one, of course,
cow.
that one just kind of died a natural death after a couple of years.
Yeah.
Which it should have died after a couple of months. Well, actually, about a couple of minutes. The only thing that even made, and to even have it like you're going to have KSR, like here's this, have a contest thing. If you really wanted to have that, why wouldn't UK Athletics put something out on UK Athletics and ask for all? Because not everybody listens to that one radio show.
Right.
Then you could have had actually some intelligent minds attack that and come up with something. Just because it rhymes doesn't mean it's good.
Right. Hopefully we get a new one, a great one this year. The turnaround. So.
Novid.
Yeah.
Instead of COVID-19, we got Novid 21.
Yeah.
Best I can come up with on short notice and less than 1 cup of coffee. So we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
In the meantime, wherever we go and whatever we do,
we're always rocking Kentucky Blue.
Thanks for listening to the Rockin' Kentucky Blue podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Radio Public, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to stop by and leave us a rating and review. And tune in next time for another episode of Rockin' Kentucky Blue.